Audio Jungle.
22-year-old security guard charged with co-worker's murder. A 22-year-old Clarendon man has been charged with the November 2023 murder of his co-worker. Charged is 22-year-old Orlando Gale, otherwise called Lando, a security guard of Fern Crescent, Hayes Maypen in Clarendon. He is implicated in the stabbing death of 22-year-old Ainsley Hall, also a security guard. Reports from the Maypen police are that about 7:10 a.m. on the above-mentioned date, Hall and Gale, who were both employed to the same company, were both at the barracks when a physical altercation developed between them. Gale reported the use a knife to stab Hall several times in the upper body before fleeing the scene. The police were summoned and Hall was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Gale was later arrested and charged. His court date is being finalized. Strategic and critical decisions needed to stem teacher migration, JTA President stated. President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, Dr. Mark Simmet, says strategic and critical decisions are needed to stem teacher migration. There is concern that Jamaica is losing many of its experienced teachers who have opted to migrate. The government has moved to fill the gaps by recruiting teachers from overseas. Dr. Simmet explains that many teachers leave the Jamaican classroom to improve the quality of their lives. He suggests offering teachers incentives to remain. The JTA president points out that many teachers experience challenges working overseas, yet still opt to go. He indicates that some do not see the migration of teachers as a crisis. Dr. Simmet wants to see action taken now to address the problem.
What we face with teacher migration, it is not Jamaicans just being tired of Jamaica. No, it's fundamentally a matter of standard of living. There was a time the only person that drove at school was the principal. And you may have a one teacher, or husband is a doctor or a lawyer or something, and he buy a car. But the dynamic has changed. And so there's a great expectation in terms of the standard. They look and see how teachers in other jurisdictions, particularly North America, because we're so close in terms of consume a lot of their digital content. And so we have to now start to think about what are those other things that we can offer teachers? Are there concessionary rates on vehicles? Are there concessionary rates in terms of, land and procuring a home? What is the basic thing that would make a person feel like, it's not worth going to? Because I tell you, when I listen to some of these stories, they undergo sometimes racism when they go to some of these countries. They understand that there's a huge culture shock in the expectation. Oftentimes they're not sent, virtually they're never sent to the best schools. They're sent to the struggling schools. So that's what you tend to find as a dynamic. But what is concerning to me as an educator is we're losing some of our brightest and smartest educators. They're packing up and leaving, and they're leaving in droves. Because an avalanche doesn't start like that. It usually starts by one rock, then two, then 8, then 100, then 200. Then all of a sudden you have a whole hillside coming down. And I'm saying if we don't stem this early, it may be too late by the time we intervene. And the US is facing that. The UK is also facing that because it takes around 4 or 5 years for them to train and get people in. Marzano, a researcher in education, tells you it takes around 5 to 10 years to build competency and mastery as a teacher. So you're talking about an entire generation going to miss out on. And so it's critical that we take the opportunity to start to engage in those very strategic and critical decisions. And as a JTA president, my association is open to look at the multiplicity of opportunities that may exist. But what we know is that fundamentally, it's a quality of life issue. And we will fight unapologetically for our teachers.
Distribution of cash grants under Rebuild Jamaica initiative being done in fair and transparent manner, stated Charles Jr.
The fact is that the Ministry of Labour and Social Security team has been working from before the hurricane impacted to get things together so that we could be proactively able to prepare the country. And we've been working non-stop since July 4th as hard as we can to do the assessments, do the verifications, process the checks, and distribute as many as possible. Now, this article is unfortunately a negative depiction of a program that has offered support to thousands of families across our country. And our team has been extra careful to execute the program as a national initiative with a very deliberate effort to ensure fairness and transparency. We certainly acknowledge that throughout this process, it's been a rigorous process, there are issues that will arise and have arisen, and as such, we have openly invited persons who have questions or concerns to contact us. Contact our parish office, contact your minister. Let us know what is taking place so we can assist you. Many have had matters clarified, and several others, including some who have said that they were omitted or raised other concerns, have had their issues rectified. If there is anyone who has been impacted by the hurricane and was assessed but still has not yet received a check, let me assure you that there is an ongoing distribution in several communities across the country, and our ministry team will make every effort to contact you and advise you when to collect. All checks have not been distributed in any one day, and so there are several persons who are on the list, and you just have to wait patiently. There are some who we have been unable to contact. We have called you 5, 10, 15 times, unable to contact you despite several efforts. And others who were assessed, but the check couldn't be printed because we cannot verify your TRN. Either your name is spelled incorrectly or the TRN number that was given was incorrect. And so we are going through the list. We are reaching out to persons in the community. If you haven't heard from us, reach out to us. We have started the process of re-verifying those TRNs and the contact information. And we expect that in very short order, we will be able to resolve these issues and to proceed with the distribution of checks further to the validation of the TRN and the contact information.
On Happy Grove High School, as Hurricane Beryl wreaked havoc on the facility at the Portland based Happy Grove High School, the damage extended well beyond the immediate impact of the storm. The official start of school has been pushed back a few weeks, giving administrators time to figure out how to help some students get to the institution. Traveling to school is a daunting and expensive task for some people, especially those impacted by the extensive roadwork leading from communities in St. Thomas, and even though requests have been made to various political representatives to provide a school bus for the area, nothing has come. Last week, administrators dreaded the long evenings that will have to wait as they try to find transportation for students to get home after school, noting that the transportation issues have affected attendance and learning over the years. Devon Wilson, head of the mathematics department, said there are many lessons that the authorities could take from Happy Grove's experience to better prepare for hurricanes. For instance, Harvey Hall, that main building, we had some issues there. If those issues were being dealt with in a timely manner, maybe the damage would have been less, stated Wilson. And even the auditorium, some of the damage is from corrosion of the metal because it was built more than 30 years ago. The roofless auditorium also houses classrooms, laboratories, and other facilities. The school's long-standing maintenance problems were evident in other buildings as well, with leaking roofs, missing windows, and pigeon infestations that have left waste scattered throughout. Bats have also overrun several top-floor classes in one of the buildings. I don't know if it is a resource problem, but I don't think we can approach education in Jamaica is done equitably, he reasoned. We send the best students to the best schools, and we give the best schools better resources. If Jamaica's educational outcome are going to change, it cannot be like that. Schools are supposed to be given what they want. Wilson added that it makes no sense to bond the students, many of them with severe learning disabilities, in classes of 60 and upwards, adding that many of such students arrive at 10 a.m., 2 hours late. They already have challenges and nothing is being done to improve transportation for our students, and those students are traveling 30 to 35 miles to get to school, he continued, noting that the concerns regarding the deteriorating infrastructure at the school and about the students' transportation woes have repeatedly been raised to the authorities. Some students, the teacher said, do not reach home until 10 o'clock at night. According to the administrators, it would take at least $2 million annual to maintain a central old institution. Painting one of the buildings could cost hundreds of dollars, Principal Monique Grandfacy told reporters. Meanwhile, the breakdown in maintenance over the years, coupled with the passage of Hurricane Beryl, has resulted in desperate times at both Savannah Primary School, where in addition to shift tabling for various grades, Principal Colin Cameron has been housing classes, particularly grades 5 and 6 students, outside on the sheds. The roof of the aged school building, which houses the 2 grades, was completely torn off by storm, and widespread termites infestation was detected. It will take detailed treatment, admitted Cameron, noting that a high cost of such and that the grades 5 and 6 block will not be ready until January. Remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.